So I'm gonna start this fire now. Always start with a few of these. I don't know. I get these on. Actually, I think I got these ones on Menards. There's tons of them out there. These sticks burn pretty good. I like the sticks, especially when you light it with a torch. The Yoder has a gas torch option for the bottom of this thing in the cook box. I've not used it yet, but it looks pretty cool. I gotta get gas out here. I do have gas out of the paver sidewalk, but I do not have gas ran through the yard. I'm not sure if I ever will. It's not that hard to light it this way. It's not like I'm lighting this thing up every day or something. A little torch. I just do a camping propane thing on it. Doesn't work good. I don't know much about these torches. I think I need to get a better one. When I tip it up, it wants to shut off. Let's give it a little bit of heat. So I've got obviously going with a couple fire sticks. And then today I really want to smoke with cherry for the most part. Don't have that apple. I got some apple not too long ago. I haven't got it split yet. I'd love to use apple on pork too. But that's not going to happen today. I'm going to start with some oak because oak will give me a nice long coal base, which is what I'm looking for here. I know some guys they actually start with charcoal, which I don't see the point of that, to the fact that I can get charcoal with a bunch of wood. When I got unlimited amount of wood like I got, it's not a big deal to throw some wood on, let it burn up. Maybe people that are a little tighter with wood or something. But long story short, these big blocks right here will make some decent wood, or coals. Some guys put charcoal in there to get the charcoal base, and then they put the wood on top, and then they keep feeding every 3 or 4 hours. But honestly, I've not had that problem. Once I get a good coal base, that's key to starting this grill. Actually, is getting a good coal base, and then 3 sticks every 45 to an hour. And I seem to keep my coal base for as long as I want. So I'm not sure why people have to add unless they're mismanaging the fire or something. I don't know. I don't understand the jits of it. But I start with fire or wood, and I end with wood. That's why it's a stick burner. We'll let this get started real quick. I'm going to run in. I'm going to season up the pork butt. I really wanted to season it last night, but unfortunately I forgot. So I'll do it right now. It's not a big deal. Let's let this cook. Okay, let's talk pork butt meat prep. So you can get these things pretty cheap at the store, especially when they're on sale. I think this one was like 13 bucks or something like that. So dirt cheap. It'll feed probably 10 to 15. So I simply took it out of the package and I rinsed it off. I patted it dry. There's 2 sides of this pork butt. There's a fat cap side, which is what you're looking at, and there's a normal other side. So on the top of it, all I do is crisscross with a knife, a real sharp knife. I crisscross through the fat into the meat for a couple different reasons. One, I like the fat to be crispy and desirable, and not like mushy and not desirable. By cutting the slits in it, it definitely helps with that. And then also allows you to put seasoning on top of it, and actually, in my opinion, I think it penetrates into the meat, or gets into the meat, or gets stuck in those little grooves, and it just makes a better product. So I've done that probably the last couple years, and I really like it. Now I know everybody talks about binders and stuff like that, and essentially I think you could probably get away with no binder, and I think the seasoning would stick on a somewhat moist piece of meat. I use olive oil. And I'm not sure why people use mustard and other things, other than maybe mustard's cheaper. Olive oil is actually kind of expensive. But I think, in my opinion, I think olive oil helps with the bark. So I always use olive oil. I like mustard. I just don't know if I don't like the idea of it being a binder, unless I'm trying to save money or something like that. Now, usually I always do SPG, salt, pepper, and garlic. But I happened to be in Michigan a couple weeks ago, and this meat store up there always sells the Killer Hog stuff. And so I picked up a container of that rub, and I threw some on there along with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So honestly, when it comes to rubs, I buy generic stuff, usually at Kroger or the local grocery store. I don't ever name brand seasoning. I don't know if there's a difference. If there is, power to whoever can figure that out. And I normally don't overcoat it with different types of seasonings. I don't think you actually need it. I'll be shocked. Maybe there's a small enhancement, but the price you spend on those types of seasonings, not normally, in my opinion, worth it. So, but in this case, I picked up a bottle of this stuff to support that YouTuber. I've got his barbecue sauce too. I'm not a big barbecue sauce guy either, but I picked it up. It has vinegar in it. I love vinegar, so I definitely picked up those 2 items, and I'm gonna use the rub today on the pork butt, and I'm doing some jalapeno poppers here too, so I'll probably throw a little bit of that on top of that. But in conjunction with the salt, pepper, and garlic, I think it's a good combination. So we'll see. We'll see if I notice a difference at the end. I doubt it though. Just finished wrapping this thing up. We're gonna get it on the grill. Probably looking at about a 10-hour cook. Hard saying, every piece of meat's a little different, but that's all there is for prep for this. It's not too crazy. You don't trim anything really off of it. So let's head out to the smoker and put this thing on, and it should be ready to go. If you've been following on the channel, you know my smokehouse just got completed. This is my first long-term smoke in it. So I'm pretty excited to see how this thing performs in my new smoking quarters, I guess you would call it. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, please. It's important.
Yeah, I can already tell that I like the shelves on all sides here. I'm a clutter freak, I guess. So it's nice to be able to place things down, not on the front of the Yoder. That's the bad thing about the Yoder is the front little thing area. It's not real wide for obvious reasons, obviously cost and probably size, but for the most part it's not a whole lot of places to put stuff. So now I got that on the side. So as I modify this little area, I'll definitely do some more things. Fire's got a little ways to go still. We don't have a really good coal base yet. My poker getting off some good smoke. I like how the smoke roars up and onto the roof. It's pretty cool. If you've not seen the tour yet on the smokehouse, I kind of designed it for this area here. So one thing I did do up here at the top, if I can show you, is I allowed a crack up here at the top of the roof. That should allow the smoke to get out of there, possibly on a calm day. Right now it's pretty windy and everything's blowing back in my face, but I've noticed the few cooks that I've done that the smoke will roar out the sides or the back. I haven't had it come straight up yet because it hasn't been that calm, but the idea is that the smoke comes up on the roof and then out the top, possibly back in here. I don't care. I don't care if the smoke rumbles throughout here. It's called the smokehouse, so ideally I'm not really that concerned about the smoke. I'm more concerned about the fire and making sure nothing else starts on fire. But you know, doing my test runs and stuff, that wood doesn't get hot over there. The box doesn't get too hot to the back either, so I've been feeling that wood as I cook. We'll find out today when I cook for 10 hours, but I'm only cooking at 250, so it's not like I'm cooking at 500. But so far, smoke has plenty of areas to get out. I don't care what happens up here. I kind of want the 2x4s and everything in the roof to all get actually charred a little bit, give it that look, that feel, that smell. So as the smoke comes up and hits those 2x4s, I expect them to turn a little bit blacker, if not black all the way, who knows. And it's nice that the roof's black too, because it's not going to show a black spot if it's already black. But anyways, I'm going to probably put a few more logs on this thing. I got 6 on there right now. I usually start with about 8 or so. Actually, I got, 6 on there. I'll throw a couple more logs. We probably got about 30 minutes before I bet to cook. So what I'll do, I'll let those coals kind of gather down at the bottom. Once they do, I'll shut the main container lid, put some water in the bowl, shut that lid, and get it up to temp. I like to get around 250. Thing holds pretty good around 225 to 300. So, and that's kind of the temperature I'm going to run this thing the entire cook. I don't freak out about it. Temperature spikes. Prove to me that a piece of food tastes different when there's been temperature spikes and not. Who knows? I think a lot of the taste in food actually comes from the meat itself. Sometimes you get lucky, you get an extra, a good cut, and sometimes you get a bad cut. So temperature spikes, I don't stress over. I mean, I don't want to get out of control. I'm not cooking at 600, but you know, if you're within 100 degrees, in my opinion, it's fine. So don't make barbecue harder than it has to be. A lot of people on YouTube making it sound like this and that, and through my experiences, don't sweat it. I don't have too many people ever say my food tastes bad. I don't remember anybody saying the food off the Yoder tastes bad. So it's usually phenomenal regardless what I do with it. So okay, it's been about another 20-25 minutes. Pretty decent coals down to the bottom. You can see them way down in there. Really nice set coals. Still plenty of wood up top here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut the door. I think it gets hot. We're going to shut the lid on the firebox. That will kill a lot of the flames. And then all that heat and smoke will now come into the chamber here. I need to fill my water pan full of water. Just a basic pan, nothing crazy. It gets hot too, you gotta be careful. Fill that full of water. Spray bottle's good. It's a 50-50 water vinegar mix. I got the smokestack open, full throttle. I don't really mess with that too much other than when I'm shutting it down. I close it. When I use it, I open it. Let's let this thing warm up, and we'll be putting the meat on here in about probably 10 minutes. Got the see Yoder running about 225 right now. Fire's calmed down, got some decent smoke. I'm getting ready to put the pork butt on. About the smoke, you've seen some videos probably recently if you follow barbecue channels about some clean smoke. And I always kind of thought it needed to be a little bit more white than what I saw on some of those channels, like the clear blue smoke. So I've always kind of tried to run a kind of a dirtier fire, I guess you'd call it, but tastes better. So I agree with what they're saying now. Is a lot of some of the main YouTubers have changed their tune on the clear smoke. Now they want a little bit more white smoke for sure. You don't want it chugging out, but you definitely want something like that. It's perfect. A little bit of white to it. You don't need a clear blue. So anyways, it's your preference, man. Don't overthink it. That's what I always say. It's simple barbecue. So let's throw this pork butt on. I'm gonna run this thing for probably a good 7 or 8 hours. Hopefully serving dinner around 6 o'clock tonight. So I'm gonna put this thing right in the center of the pit for now, and we'll move it later on if we need to, but for the most part we're gonna get rolling on this thing. And I'll put it a little bit towards the firebox. Still gotta fill up the water pan. I'm gonna do that when I get out of here. And we'll check along the way here. I'll probably check about every hour or so. I'll definitely be putting wood on every hour. I'm not sure if I'll be recording every hour. I've got yard work to do and some other things around the house. That's what's the beauty about this. I get about an hour time break in between checks and wood. So for the most part, I can get a lot of things done. I usually set the phone timer, and when it beeps, I come over here and check on it. Other than that, it pretty much runs itself. Let's see what we do here. It's about 7 o'clock, so we'll see where we end up at. Okay, coming up on our first about 40 minutes. It's been working here, the pork butt. I just wanted to show you what the coals look like. This is my initial burn, the initial 8 pieces or so, and you can see the coal bed here is awesome. One thing you want to do is you want to spread that out really thin and all over the firebox. That'll help you burning flat as you go forward. But I like to spread these out, make sure they're all over the place. That's a pretty good coal bed right there. We won't ever get that many coals the rest of the cook, but that gets me going, and I shouldn't have a problem keeping the fire roaring. So I've got some cherry pieces I'm gonna throw on there real quick. They've been sitting on the top of the box. The reason why I put them on top of the box is to get them warm and dry them out just a tad. I'm not sure how much drying out it does, but pretty much gets them warm and they light up quicker. They should light pretty quick. You can see I'm running full throttle with my door in the back. It took a while for the grill to really get to that point. I noticed I had to crack the door a lot more as it was newer, but as it's been seasoned, been running in the last few cooks, at least the summertime cooks, have been with the full throttle, door open, or the door shut, but the full throttle on the air chambers. So, and actually, I think I've actually slowed those down a little bit and closed those down a little bit at times. So you can see it lit up real nice. That's straight cherry there. So I'm going to run pretty much cherry the rest of the way here today. Okay, we're just over 2 hours and 20 minutes in right now. The Yoder is pinned at 250. The upper chamber is about 210, 205. So this thing's a tank, man. Works good. Actually, it's not even that hot to touch, really. It's surprising. Anyways, let's take a peek at this, and then we'll take a look at the wood. All right. Getting that red color already. Now remember I put that Killer Hog seasoning on there, so that had a little, looked like paprika in it, so that might have helped with the color a little bit. But I am smoking exclusively with cherry wood right now, which cherry will give that pork butt a nice little red tint. But you know, honestly, I think even when you use oak and stuff, you still get the red tint from the pork. I think it's just naturally that color, it comes that color. But so we're gonna give it a 50-50 water apple cider vinegar spray down. Nothing crazy. I know there's a lot of stuff about not drenching it. I don't think it matters at this point. So we're going to leave it as is in here. We're not even going to mess with it. I think we're good. I've got the water pan back there in the back now. Smokestack wide open like always. The door, I've been playing with the door a little bit, maybe a quarter closed. So let's take a look at the fire and see what we get here. We'll shut this up. Here's my 3 pieces of cherry wood ready to go on. Gotta be careful with these because these things will light up. Dave and I both experienced that. I'm not sure if ideally if it was probably designed for that, but it definitely helps get the wood hot and warmed up. All right, not bad. Good little coal bed still. Not too much. Kind of spread out a little bit. Probably not quite ready for a piece of wood yet, but we're gonna throw one on there because I got to start mowing the grass here in a minute, and I don't want to be messing with it. So once again, I always do the same way here. I do 2 on the sides, like that. This is a big split here. I can't wait to get my new little toy I got coming in the mail to try out. I think it's going to work out great. If that's on a tip or not, or a hint, you see that big piece in the back, it just lit right up. Pretty dry stuff. You don't want your wood to be too dry, I know that. You want a little moisture in it. So I think this cherry's been around for at least 6 to 9 months. I think it might have been dead before that. So obviously it's all mixed in there. Eventually I want to put cherry all on one side, fruit wood on one side, and then oak and hickory on the other side. Now the wood in the back here, this is for our fire pit. It's bigger stuff. It's not split for the smoker. So the idea with that is, I think I've said in other videos, is all my wood staying dry right here. Don't have much of an overhang, but this is actually the east side of the building, northeast, so barely gets any rain at all. This faces the northwest here, so the front edge of here will get wet a little bit, but the moisture doesn't hurt that much. It actually gives it a better smoke. So you can see it's lit up right now. I'm gonna have to shut that door down a little bit. It's actually at a half right now. So let's shut that down. You can see I'm gonna leave that as is. It's halfway. So I'm not sure if it's because my grill's been seasoned, it's getting stronger as it gets older, or it's just the weather. You know, it's about it's probably a cool 78 right now. It's a gorgeous day out, to be honest with you. It's a beautiful day to be smoking wood. It's a Sunday morning. Got some company coming over tonight, so it should be fun. But I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful day. I can't wait to get out there and start mowing the grass. It's going to be a pretty enjoyable with listening to music and cutting the grass here in a minute, and smelling barbecue in the background. So we'll check back in a couple hours here and see where we're at. Okay, it's about noon, Sunday afternoon, obviously, like it was earlier today. Grill's dropped down to about 225, perfectly fine. Let's take a look. We've been on for about 5 hours. Looks pretty decent. I'm going to give it a spray. A little dried out, but nothing major. Don't freak out if it gets dry. Who cares? I said I'm Simple Barbecue. That's my name. Keep it simple. Make it taste good. It's starting to look great. The top's starting to render down a little bit. Definitely not crispy yet. It will be. All right. Got that soaked down. Water still looks good. It's starting to go away. I'll probably have to fill it up next hour. So let's take a look at the fire. See what we got going on there. Down to 2 logs. Let's just see if I can I'll just put one on top for now. I think we're alright with one. There's a piece of cherry right there. Put that on and let that light up, and we'll give another, I'll check back with you guys here in maybe a couple hours or so. Maybe around 2 o'clock. We'll see where we're at. Might be wrapping by then. I like to get this thing at least close to being done around 5 o'clock. It needs a half hour of rest time. So meanwhile, I'm out cutting the grass right now. It's a beautiful day for that. So I've got it. It's got a little bit of the front yard in front of the house there, not the field, but got all the way around the house already. So okay, it's 2 o'clock, so we're about 7 hours in. I'm getting kind of nervous now because I don't think it's where it needs to be wrapped, but I may wrap it anyway. Let's just take a peek. So 7 hours on a smoker, running 275, 250, 225, around in there. Looks like I'm getting about 150 there. Outside there, 148 and 155. Try back here real quick. That's pretty tender. 156. So usually I don't want to wrap it until I get better color. Yeah, it's not too bad. Better color, but I got about 3 hours before the people are going to be here to eat this, so I need to speed this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap it now. Try it out. I mean, I don't think I've ever wrapped that early before in the 150s. Usually it's like 160 to 170. 70s through 80s are usually the slow part. But you know what? Barbecues, you know, you got to try different things, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to wrap this thing at 150. We'll see what happens. Real simple. Ow, it's hot. We'll spray it down real quick, get some moisture inside the pan or inside the toilet foil. Pretty simple. I don't do butter and all that stuff. I think it's just a waste of money. A little moisture, let the thing work itself. I don't think I have to be that tight either, but I do try to make sure there's no air holes. Like right now, there's an air hole in the end here. Yeah, not too much. So I'll run another piece the opposite way. Wrap this puppy up and throw it back on there. I'm not sure what side fat is down or up. I don't really care. I don't think it makes a difference. If it does, hey, power to you. You can spot that out. Then all the power to you. That's dry, but I don't need it anymore because I don't care about moisture or anything. Put that right there, and we're good there. I'm about to run to Kroger and get a couple groceries, so hopefully this thing will be all right. The wife will still be here, but I don't think she has a clue how this works. But I feel pretty comfortable. It's gonna be fine. I'll probably stick around for a little while, make sure the fire kind of cools down after I get it started here with these new logs. Make sure it's not smoking too bad, but really at this point it doesn't really matter because the meat's covered in foil, so really I'm just looking for heat. And honestly, I could just go ahead and shut down the grill, put it in the oven like I normally would, but I'm doing those Texas poppers today, so which is jalapenos, cream cheese, bacon, all that stuff. I want to start those. That's why I'm going to Kroger. I got to find some jalapenos. I didn't have them a couple days ago, so I'll probably hit Walmart and get some jalapenos. Anyway, so we're in good shape. Got 3 hours still. Hopefully that pork butt comes off in a 2.5, 3 hours, and then I can let it sit for a half hour and then pull it. So there's nothing worse than having a pork butt that's not at 200 because it's too tough to pull. All right, we'll check back in a couple hours. All right, we're back. About 3 o'clock, I think. Yeah, 3:30. So pork butt's been on since 7 a.m. So that's what, 8.5 hours. I'm getting ready to put the poppers on. If you've not had poppers before, they're incredible. So no particular way to put the poppers on. I just put them, usually the top rack's in there. That's usually where I put them in at. But the top rack's not in. I don't want to go get it right now. I forgot it was in the garage. So I'm just gonna line these puppies up right here on the bottom rack. Now, that bacon will shrink and tighten up. Some of that cream cheese will squirt out of it. Yeah, it's cream cheese, cheddar cheese, salt, pepper. I put some of that Killer Hog Seasoning on top just for the fun of it. Never done that before. Usually I put salt and pepper on top and maybe a little paprika, but no particular reason why. I'm not sure it even tastes better. But we're going to want to rotate these poppers because the front ones are going to get a lot more heat than the back ones. We want to make sure they kind of cook evenly somewhat. Not a big deal. Don't overthink this thing. These poppers are cake. They taste great. Everybody likes them, and they're not really hot either. Depends on how hot you want them. You can make them hotter. I keep these pretty mild. The family kind of likes it that way. All right, those are on. Real quick, let's just check the temperature of the pork butt. Man, I'm hoping this thing's coming up. Okay, we're 175 right there. Ooh, yeah, okay, 180 right there. That says 204. That's the very edge. That's really thin. Wow. Yeah, I'm reading 200 around the corners, but this backside right here needs to get a little bit more. All right, we'll let that thing go a little longer. I don't trust these things all the time. Maybe it's because of Thermo Pro. I don't know. And it depends where you jab it at and stuff like that. If I hit a bone, obviously it's gonna be hotter. If I put it on the outside, it's gonna be hotter. If I put it inside, it's probably gonna be cooler. So anyways, probably got another hour on the pork butt, maybe an hour and a half. But these poppers, probably 2 hours. About done. It's been fun. Easy burn. Okay, about 5 o'clock now. Thing's been on for 10 hours. There's the poppers I put on about an hour and a half ago. They're getting there. All right, let's take a quick temperature, see where they're at, see where this thing's at. Yeah. It's reading about 2016. That's pretty solid. That did help. 202, 204, 205, 202. Yeah. I'm going to pull that off, give it a half hour to rest. That should give the poppers enough time to brown up. The skin's still not quite there yet, so I'm going to move them forward, rotate them too, if I don't get burn my fingers off, and get that pork butt off. I'll show you what happens when I shred this thing up here in a little bit. What the fire looks like real quick. Still pretty good. Burning cherry. All right, be back in a bit.
Okay, and finally the money shot. So you saw the temperatures are over 200 in most areas of that pork butt, well over 200. You know, the obvious sign of a pork butt being done is that big bone pulling out. And by the way, you want a bone in pork butt. I've had the boneless at Costco. I didn't like them. They weren't nearly as juicy. So I'm not sure what the bone does, but it did well here. You can see everything pulled real nice. Got good smoke color at pink and a great bark. This was a phenomenal piece of meat and a good cook. That's a wrap. If you like these types of videos, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe. Please share with family and friends. And like I always say, I appreciate you spending time with the HomePro Hero.